Da unten im Tale läuft's Wasser so trüb, und ich kann dir's nicht sagen, ich hab die so lieb.
Da unten im Tale by Johannes Brahms. It's one of the songs on Fatma Said's new album of German Lieder, which she introduces in this podcast in 3 parts.
In regards of how I performed these songs, I wanted them to be strongly emphasized by the words. That was the goal from the start. My goal is not to create a beautiful voice. That wasn't really my goal from the beginning. And of course, I mean, a singer has to have a nice voice, no? But I was going against this. Even in the recording process, when we would do something like Da unten im Tale, or when I was working with Anneleen on the harp things, Immer leiser wird mein Schlummer, I really wanted constantly to have conversations. I wanted constantly to imagine these words spoken out of the characters and not sung. And the music and the voice was more than secondary for me on the album. Obviously, I had to have good intonation, but I transposed also a lot of things to adapt to the speaking range that I want to have and to not make it sound, oh, look at the high note. I wanted, even when I go up with my range, for it still to show, first of all, the composer's intention of why he put it up there. It was not because, and never because, the composer wanted the singer to show off the voice. It's always expression, always. So many times I would try during the recording, I listen and I don't like it. I feel it is too sung. So I tell the producer, Lucas, no, it's too sung. I need it more spoken. So I go back again and I try to speak. I try to really have this conversation. I try to say the words. And it is very noticeable in some songs. And some would disagree with how, for example, I sang Hexenlied. Because I was really like, die Schwalbe fliegt, der Frühling siegt und spendet uns Blumen zum Kranze. And I was really extremely expressive.
Die Schwalbe fliegt, der Frühling siegt und spendet uns Blumen zum Kranze. Bald huschen wir leis aus der Tür und fliegen zum prächtigen Tanze. Ein schwarzer Bock, ein Besenstock, die Ofengabel der Wogen reißt uns geschwind wie Blitz und Wind durch sausende Lüfte zum Brocken, reißt uns geschwind wie Blitz und Wind durch sausende Lüfte zum Brocken.
Of course, it could compromise, obviously, sometimes my throat, because I sometimes have to really open up and I cannot speak so intensively when I'm singing on a high register. Yet, I wanted to take this risk happily to bring out the expression, to bring out the words and put them always as number one before any line.
Voll Goldes sich graben, sie sollen schön in Seide gehen und voll Goldes sich graben.
There are other songs such as Schubert, when it comes to Hirt auf dem Felsen, where Schubert wrote it in a way where he was definitely searching for the musical line. This is not die Schwalbe fliegt oder dir zu eröffnen, mein Herz. This is not that. So, in contrast to all the spoken things, in moments such as Schubert, Hirt auf dem Felsen, I allowed myself to obviously give the vocal line importance because that was clearly written in the music. How the notes were written in a certain way that you would sing several notes on one vowel. That's a different story. When I have something like Die Schwalbe fliegt, der Frühling siegt und spendet uns Blumen zum Kranze, he's literally on every single syllable, we have a different note. So that has to be interpreted differently than in tiefem Gram verzehr. He didn't say verzehr ich mich. He said verzehr ich mich. So there was a different intention that Schubert had here other than the spoken word. Hirt of dem Felsen, I think it's one of the most difficult things to sing ever as a soprano or as a mezzo, because it has everything. It teaches you all singing lessons in one song. So it's so hard to keep the intensity and obviously the very, very strong emotions of the song and the story, yet being incredibly in control of the singing technique, because this is something where I cannot completely count on the spoken word. I must have a technical stability in order to perform it. So you see again the different songs that have completely different qualities, and how I have to obviously understand them before I sing them to be able to know what quality it needs and serve it that way. So that was with Sabine and Malcolm. With someone like Anneleen and the harp is so vulnerable, so soft, so sensitive. So is a piano, but there's something about the harp, about the string, that makes it even more vulnerable. And I felt I could have the courage, Anneleen and I, to even speak more in these songs. And I deliberately chose songs that were written by Brahms that would fit the harp. So if you notice, all the songs I've chosen have so many nice arpeggios and have so many nice, like doga 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 diga doga doga doga, all that kind of things that could really shine in a harp. So the choice was also really based on how the instrument would come in contact with the notation as well. So obviously these songs were never performed with harp before, so that's an experiment. But Lerchengesang, and the way it is notated by Brahms, I couldn't find a better instrument to play it other than a harp, especially the beginning of such a song. It's really beautiful. So I felt we were lucky that it all worked well, and it was well thought through with the harp, I must say. it helps also that it's Anneleen who's playing, because she is really one of the best out there, in my opinion. And she's such a sensitive artist and such a sensitive harp player. And she really was able to speak on her instrument as well and create the perfect atmosphere for what I was saying at times. So I must give her also that credit. And the Lerche is mentioned so much in German poetry. And also I think British poetry, but it plays a very big role in romantic poetry. And it's always like the most beautiful voice, no? It's always like the most unique voice. It's what stands out. And I wanted to give it this uniqueness by choosing the harp as an accompaniment to it, also such a unique instrument. And also the beautiful contrast between what the harp is doing and also the rest the song kind of gets into, when I go Ich schließe leis mein Auge, and then it goes again from this major to minor, that ziehen Erinnerungen in major, in sanften Dämmerungen, then in minor. It's just really the beauty of these contrasts, doing them with a harp so subtly. That was a huge joy to record it, really.
This is In der Nacht by Robert Schumann.
I had a lot of conversations about what it is with Huw and with Joe when we were recording. And sometimes we had the feeling, well, there was this idea that it might be the same person speaking. We had the idea that it could be two lovers. And that's, I think, that the idea that kind of at the very end of the recording was left with us most, that they were two lovers, definitely, who are not going to see each other again. And this journey of the song is like they are always trying to meet, but the timing is always not good. The timing never really suited them. Whenever one was in a destination, the other one was either right behind or right in front. But they meet at one point, and that's the last time they see each other. Whether one of them dies, whether they believed in miracles and left together, that could be also a way of seeing it. I couldn't really put my hand on that. What I could kind of like strongly feel is that they were either taken together or one of them was taken. But what is for sure is that they never saw each other again. So it's definitely a farewell. It's definitely a farewell after a very tough life, after the timing that hasn't been in their favor. ever. But then when they meet, they have this glorious moment in time, and then as I said, I don't know if they leave together or one of them just leaves. But I know that it is the end. They don't see each other again. If then in death, but not in life. You and I got along so well. We hit it off immediately. And not only that, our voices fit so well. And in such a song, there is a beautiful contrast between him as the man with this presence, with this musical line, and where I am embodying more the fragility. And it creates an incredible contrast because I'm not doing what he's doing. And he's not trying to do what I am doing. So it's so beautiful, it's so personal, and it's so individual at the same time, showing this timing, like each one of us is in a different place, but yet we arrive in the same place the other one was just at. So it's extraordinary, this experience of recording it. We were texting afterwards, and we were just thinking, we can't wait to share it with the world, but the experience of recording it was so special, like the singing it was really, really incredible.
And next, music by Franz Schubert, Der Zwerg.
First of all, it's not a lot sung by women. And I don't see the reason why, because it's literally three characters. There's a narrator, and that narrator is neutral. It's not a man. And then there's the Zwerg, which is the man. And then there is the Königin, which is the woman. So I don't see a reason why it was kind of always known to be interpreted by masculine voices. So I was very excited to record it myself and kind of get into these characters. How the narrator kind of has this like really stable, yet the way it's written, sometimes showing by storytelling, creating this build-up in the songs and what's going to be said by the Königin or the Zwerg. So the narrator for me wasn't completely emotionless, but that's one thing. And then the other thing is to create a sound and a character in all the Zwerg's phrases, and then be able to create a completely different sound when the Königin is talking. So I gave the narrator the musical line, and I gave the words the characters. So you would find the beginning, the musical line, and then once the characters start getting involved, this is when I put more emphasis on the word and the interpretation, and I have the musical line as secondary.
Wie habt ihr mir gelogen noch, ihr Sterne, so ruft sie aus, bald werd ich nun entschwinden, ihr sagt es mir, doch sterb ich wahrlich
It has so many meanings, and I love the harmonies that keep on changing that Schubert uses to express all of these feelings. I remember having goosebumps while I'm singing it because of these harmony changes that put me in a different state of being, a different person every few seconds when I keep on changing between the characters. It's almost schizophrenic for a singer to, in 4 minutes, to kind of keep on changing characters like that, and not only changing character and words, but also the music and lines, and giving each character a completely different approach. So it's a very challenging song. I feel it takes so much out of me, but it's one of the songs I deeply enjoyed recording with Malcolm. And the great thing about Malcolm is that he believed in the same approach that I had. So he was like, I don't think someone ever recorded it like you did. So he was very supportive of my way of interpreting it, and also this very wordly way of direct speech whenever the Zwerg or the Königin have spoken.
Du selbst bist schuld an diesem Leide, weil den König du mich hast verlassen. Jetzt weckt dein Sterben einzig mir noch Freude, einzig mir noch Freude. Zwar werd ich ewig mich selber hassen, der dir mit dieser Hand den Tod gegeben. Doch musst zum
I wanted to use so much my chest voice there. I didn't want to show the beauty of the voice because I don't think there is much beauty in the song. It's really a heartbreaking song. And the last line of An keiner Küste wird je mehr landen. So he decides to end his life where he killed her. And he doesn't want to ever get off of this boat again, because despite of actually taking her life, he feels incredibly horrible, and he decides to, when his life comes to an end, he decides for it to come to an end in the place where he took her life, and to meet her probably in death. So I thought it's very strong. The Zwerg kills, yet you have sympathy with him. And I love these controversial characters, and like another Don Giovanni, he literally raped women and he wasn't a good man. Yet at the very end, you feel for him. And Rigoletto, he is not a good man, yet you feel for him as a father. And it's the Zwerg, he took the life of the König, and yet you feel for him as a person, and as someone who was really deeply in love, and how much guilt and sadness he will live with until the rest of his life, to the point that he punishes himself to never land on land again and dies in water.
Sie tief ins Meer mit eigenen Händen. Ihm brennt nach ihr das Herz, so voll verrangen. Ihm brennt nach ihr das Herz, so voll verrangen, so voll wird
More music by Schubert next. Two different songs, both called Ständchen.
Zögernd leise, in des Dunkels Nächt der Hölle, in des Dunkels Nächt der Hölle, sind wir hier, sind wir hier, und den Finger sanft gekrümmt, leise, leise, pochen wir an des Liebchens Kammertür, pochen wir an des Liebchens Kammertür.
The Ständchen by Schubert, or the Zögernd leise, is a very special song on the album because I was able to get together with a very special guest, the Walhalla zum Seidlwirt. These are a men's group of singers and they studied with me at university. So we were together at the same time and when I was studying, and it meant a lot to me that they also accepted to be on the album because it was, again, it complements my concept of making music with friends. And that was about it. It gave me the feeling that we were in some cottage house singing together without rehearsals, without preparations, and just making music like old friends from 10 years ago. So it meant a lot to me doing it that way. I also don't think that it is meant to be super precise and perfect and polished. That's not the way we did it either. We were singing from the heart, and it's this duet between the female voice and men answering her, often reflecting what she's saying or echoing what she's saying. So it's really a very fun piece to sing, and I think the joy of it should come out as much as possible because it has this subtle kind of secret, quiet, fun and exciting young love, and it's not really out there. There's something very precious about the song because the whole line throughout is about protecting it, and it's about not making it too much out there or very official. It's about two lovers trying to sneak in and hide and protect their love in a way. So even at the points in the song when we can get very excited, we have to get back with our excitement very, very quickly in order not to highlight it too much. It shouldn't go out to the people. It's kind of a secret love.
In allen Reichen, wer den Schlummer zu vergleichen. Drum statt Worten und statt Gaben, drum statt Worten und statt Gaben, sollst du nun auch Ruhe haben, sollst du nun auch Ruhe haben. Noch ein Grüßchen, noch ein Grüßchen, noch ein Wort, ein Wort. Es verstummt die frohe Weise, die frohe Weise, leise, leise, leise. Schleichen wir uns wieder fort. Schleichen wir uns wieder fort. Noch ein Grüßchen, noch ein Grüßchen, noch ein Wort.
Ständchen, leise flehen meine Lieder by Schubert, of course, it's one of the most famous melodies Schubert ever composed. It was very challenging for me to record it because when you record something so famous such as Ständchen or Widmung or Zwerg, you know that these songs have been the most researched and have been the most interpreted, have been the most recorded. So it is definitely a challenge to make it still sound mine and still sound as an original. Malcolm and I chose a key that would fit my voice best. So that was one of the first things we wanted to adapt to the song. There was a lot of searching and looking into the song in order to find the perfect color in my voice for that type of song. And all the information about it is out there. I don't know what to add. What I added is my own interpretation of it, which I hope people would enjoy when they listen to it, especially from a female voice, because I know it hasn't been recorded enough in female voices. It's mostly recorded in men's voices. And there's no particular reference that it should be sung by a man. So I was happy to still give my female voice touch in the discography world.
Leise fliehen meine Lieder durch die Nacht zu dir. In den stillen Hain hernieder, Liebchen, komm zu mir. Flüstert schlanke Wipfel rauschen in des Mondes Licht, in des Mondes Licht, des Verräters feindlich lauschen, fürchte Holde nicht, fürchte Holde nicht.
And finally, in this podcast featuring Fatma Said's new album of German Lieder, music again by Robert Schumann, Widmung.
Du meine Seele, du mein Herz, du meine Wonne, du mein Schmerz, du meine Welt, in der ich lebe, mein Himmel, du, darein ich schwebe, und du mein Grab, in das hinab ich ewig meinen Kummer gab. Du bist die Ruhe, du bist der Frieden, du bist vom Himmel mir beschieden, dass du mich liebst, macht mich mir wert, dein Blick hat mich.
Widmung, there is something about Schumann that just enters my heart very quickly. I understand it very well. And how he just managed to put du meine Seele, du mein Herz, du meine Wonne, du mein Schmerz. How on every word he managed to almost create a harmony that reflects the word that I'm saying. Because you have Seele, Herz, Wonne, Schmerz, du meine Welt, du mein Grab, du bist die Ruhe, du bist der Frieden. And so it's just the poetry here is just unbelievably beautiful, really, really, really beautiful of Heinrich Heine. And this is for me the meaning of Lied. You get this incredible poet combined with an incredible composer, and they just create this piece of art, not because it's just beautiful, it's just the music is just reflecting incredibly the words that are being said. So it makes my life much easier when I perform it, because I feel the work has already been done by these two. And I also made it a point to choose a key that is comfortable for my voice, that can make me express all these beautiful, beautiful words and bring it on the album.
Dass du mich liebst, macht mich mir wert, dein Blick hat mich vor mir verkehrt.